I'm here as Ian. I get to be able to say anything I want.
So if you're here as Ian,
He's Pete.
so how does Ian feel about the movement of the whole Fitzsimmons thing?
Yeah.
It's not moving fast enough. I think she's true.
Thanks, Ian.
No, but really, how about you? How do you feel about the Fitzsimmons movement in that direction, and what are the big roadblocks that you think you guys have to overcome?
Right now, we don't really have any roadblocks. The big one was obviously Will, the astronaut that she fell in love with on a different planet, as you do. And so that now that's kind of out of the way, and I think that, you know, that brought them so much closer together just because of how wonderful that Fitz was. And I think he arrived at the point where he knew that he liked her before she was there. She hadn't really thought about it, and when he confessed his love at the end of season 1, it wasn't that Simmons didn't feel the same. She'd just not processed that information before. And then everything happened, and then they had to be separated, and so I think now what's really nice where they are right now is that they're both on the same page. They're both feeling very strong romantic connection towards each other, but there's also so much at stake, and they've lost each other before and they don't want to do it again. So where they are right now is that they know how each other feels. They know that they love each other, but because there's no major conflict or obstacle right now, is that they can take their time. So, I mean, I think they've earned these moments of peace and intimacy, and it just, you know, it seems where to me that makes sense for them. But we'll see them walk that journey. And just being like, what if they were girlfriend and boyfriend? I mean, Simmons has been around. Simmons is. Yeah, but Fitz, I don't know if Fitz has had a girlfriend before.
My answer is Ian.
Yeah.
I can't really answer that. No, I think it would be unwise to not remind all of us that, you know, when something good generally happens in the Marvel Universe, it's then followed by something that could be less good, but we don't know that to be with these young star-crossed lovers.
Yeah, we don't know that. We don't know that for sure.
No.
Well, you know everything for sure. Come on.
Be careful what you wish for.
A less good thing that happened is that we lost Adrian and Nick. But the good thing that may come of that is we may see them on their own show. But can you talk about, first of all, saying goodbye to them in that amazing emotional scene, and how you sort of engineered the plan to keep the show, the mothership, going with taking these two characters out of the equation?
Well, first of all, this was something that we started talking about last year. There was an opportunity for us to be able to tell a different kind of show, and Jeff Bell and Paul Z were the right people to tell that story. And we were looking to really not do Shield : New Jersey. We were looking to really, you know, break the mold and start in a new direction. And you know, the character of Mockingbird has a long legacy in the Marvel Universe. We were very lucky in that almost immediately the fans and the viewers and ABC all very much took to Adrian and Nick's performances as Lance and Bobby, and that it was something different. They actually were, you know, one of the things that Jeff and Jed and Marissa like to talk about, the showrunners, is that, you know, in season 1 there were a more mature group of people in the sense that Coulson and May were people that actually had been doing this job for a long time, and there was a younger sort of group that were sort of coming in, and whether that was Fitzsimmons or whether that was Sky, there was not a group that had sort of been there and had done this, and at the same time were a couple, and at the same time we also introduced Henry Simmons as Agent Mackenzie, and I think everyone here at this table knows that when you take that risk of introducing 3 new characters, 4 when you include Lincoln, the audience sometimes goes, yeah, get rid of those guys. We like going back to the original guys, and everyone embraced them, and suddenly our little 6-unit family now became a family of 10, which opens up the door for more stories, and that's always what it's about. How do we tell more stories? And what we started talking about was, okay, how do we tell stories that are really completely different, that don't have anything to do with S.H.I.E.L.D.? And that led towards a conversation about Bobby and Hunter leaving, not just S.H.I.E.L.D., but leaving the show. And Paul Z wrote a beautiful script, pitched the idea of what that last scene was going to be like in the writer's room, and in the end, it was shot. And I think Elizabeth can speak to this better than I can. Is that the emotions that you are feeling are real because the cast on this show is very much a family and looks after each other and comes in when they don't have to and sees each other socially and hangs out with each other, and so to have two of those members who were first welcomed at the very beginning and then to be told that they were going to be leaving the show, and to be told in the way that they were told, which is we sent a script around. I mean, it wasn't like we said to everybody at the beginning of the season, oh, by the way, this is what's going to happen. Well, you can talk about that day and what it was like shooting that scene.
Shooting this, I mean, we're so proud of them and we're really excited for them, but for us it's obviously a huge loss just day to day for them not to be there. And when Adrienne first came, we had a lot of our scenes together because I was undercover at Hydra, and then actually so was she, and I mean, and Nick Blood and Henry, who we get to keep. They're just such great people, and we were so excited to have some, new blood and new stories to tell and new amazing characters, and they really just fitted in seamlessly. It's crazy that we even had a show without them in a way, and it's a testament to them and to their acting and to the characters that were so beautifully written that they can stand on their own in their own series, and I can't wait to see it. But that scene was, just reading that scene, Paul Z, who wrote the episode and now is headlining the new show, is, he was reading the stage directions as we were doing the read through, and he couldn't get through the stage directions. He cried and then had to just skip to the end of the stage direction, and then obviously by that point I was completely gone. Adrienne was gone. I couldn't look at her. Nick had tears in his eyes, and then when we came to do it, so when we shoot something you always read it through first, and Paul was reading the stage directions as we were going to run our lines, and he couldn't get through it again, and this was on, we weren't even filming it wasn't even, we were just sitting around the set going through it. And so it was, we are a family, and you spend so long with each other, and you so many hours, and you go through so much, and it's a vulnerable position to be in, and we support each other, and that's something that is unique in this business, and it's a shame that it is, but we feel very lucky to have got that bond. And so that was a tough day at the office.
Time for one more question.
Can we ask the Civil War question, just the connection? I don't expect you to spill the details, but
you expect me to do nothing.
Come on,
look.
I can tell you.
At the end of the day, as you continually back me into the corner of saying hashtag it's all connected, and then I get yelled at on Monday. The reality is that we've been from the beginning of the season telling a story about how powered people interact with non-powered people, and we've been doing it on a very ground level. And the idea that one of our youngest and newest cast members, Sky, would become Daisy Johnson, and have powers and interact with a group. This is a show that started with the idea that not all heroes are super, and now it's very much part of it. And so that feeling of whether or not you're going to be tolerant of someone who's different is really, at the end of the day, what is at the heart of Civil War, and what's at the heart of what we're doing for the rest of the season, and possibly what's going into Blackwood season 4. And when you think about what's going on in the world around us. Marvel really shines when things in the real world are then put through a prism that takes you back out to the other side. And so right now, what's going on in our world, I don't ever remember a time where the feelings about race and religion and gender and tolerance towards man and man's intolerance towards man hasn't been so much on the front burner, and that we're going to have to figure out how to get along, and we're going to have to figure out how to understand that just because people are different doesn't mean that they aren't our friends. And that, in its heart and core, is what we're doing with the show. And so if you're watching the show because it's got great action or because it's got extraordinarily beautiful people on it, or because there's funny accents, or because there's incredible tech and incredible action, incredible Marvel, and characters that you know and characters that you get to see for the first time brought to life, if we can also slip in a little something about what's going on in our world, then good on us.